Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an engineer, you already know the constant tug of war over how code actually gets from a local machine into production. It's a universal struggle, right? Well, today, we're turning this into a highly actionable workshop. We're going to definitively answer the ultimate engineering branching debate once and for all: Git flow versus trunk-based development. Let's dive in.
Git flow is proper structure versus trunk-based, ships faster until prod breaks. Okay, you have absolutely been in this exact Slack thread before. It's the classic debate. On one side, you've got Sarah arguing that Git flow brings proper release branches and structure, which, let's be honest, matters a lot. But then Mike jumps in, arguing that trunk-based development paired with feature flags lets you ship way faster. And Sarah fires back that, well, it's only faster until a production incident hits at 3 a.m. and you don't have a release branch to pull a hotfix from. Sound familiar? But here's the secret most of these arguments completely miss. They both actually have totally valid points. The answer really isn't about which one is universally better, but which one actually fits your specific delivery environment.
But hey, before we talk strategy, we need a quick paradigm shift regarding what a branch actually is. If you've spent time working with older version control systems, you might naturally think of a branch as this heavy, expensive copy of your entire code base. But in Git, a branch is literally just a simple 41-byte text file containing a commit hash. That's it. It acts merely as a pointer to a specific moment in your commit history, meaning it costs absolutely nothing to create. We're talking zero disk space overhead and zero duplication.
To prove this, just look at what happens under the hood. When you create a new branch, let's say feature/add search from your main branch, both of those text files sitting in your hidden .git directory contain the exact same commit hash, like 3F9A1C2. They are completely identical. Creating a branch is entirely free, and it's instant. Once we truly grasp that we can branch aggressively without any kind of penalty, the strategies we're about to look at simply become rules. Rules about how aggressively we branch, for how long, and with what naming conventions.
All right, let's get right into strategy 1, Git flow.
Think of Git flow using this analogy. It's a heavily structured railway system. You've got scheduled stops, very predetermined routes, and massive built-in safety nets. It is custom designed for environments where releases are major, coordinated events, definitely not daily occurrences.
Mechanics-wise, Git flow is defined by 5 strict branch types, and each has very specific rules. First up, your main branch. This is strictly for production code. Every single commit here is a tagged release, period. Then your develop branch is the integration hub where all the new features land. Speaking of which, you have feature branches, which are created off develop and merged right back into develop. Now, when you are finally ready to ship, you cut a release branch to stabilize the code and fix any lingering bugs before merging it into both main and develop. And finally, you have the hotfix branch. This one is absolutely crucial. It's your ultimate safety net. If something breaks in production, you branch directly from main, fix that urgent bug, and then merge the fix into both main and develop so it isn't lost in future releases. It's undeniably complex, but it's incredibly safe.
Moving on to strategy 2, trunk-based development. So if Git flow is a highly structured railway, trunk-based development completely inverts those assumptions. It operates more like a continuous high-speed conveyor belt. Instead of multiple tracks, you have one long-lived branch, the trunk, otherwise known as main. And every single developer on the team integrates their work into this trunk at least once a day using really short-lived feature branches. The entire goal here is to keep that main branch in a continuously deployable state. Now you might be wondering, if everyone is merging to main every single day, how on earth do you prevent half-finished features from completely breaking production? Well, the answer is feature flags. Take a look at this Python snippet. We essentially hide unfinished code behind a flag by checking an environment variable. If search enabled is true, the new feature runs. If it's false, it doesn't. This is a real game changer because it fundamentally decouples deployment from release. You can literally deploy code constantly to production without any users ever seeing it. Then, when the business is finally ready to release the feature, you just flip that environment variable. No new code is deployed, the feature just turns on. It's brilliant.
Okay, so the absolute most crucial point of this workshop is knowing when to use which structure. Let's look at them side by side. You really should use Git flow when you have scheduled release cycles, think mobile apps waiting for App Store approval, or enterprise software with heavy compliance and audit requirements. But avoid Git flow if you want to deploy multiple times a day, or if you have a highly mature CI/CD pipeline, because honestly, the branch overhead will just become a massive bottleneck for you. Conversely, choose trunk-based development when you want high-speed delivery, continuous deployment, and you already have that feature flag infrastructure we just talked about ready to go. But definitely avoid trunk-based development if your team is a bit more junior and needs rigid guardrails, or if you completely lack automated testing. That's a recipe for disaster.
Next up, merge strategies. How branches land.
Regardless of the strategy you end up choosing, you still have to decide exactly how those branches integrate back into your main codebase. Here are your 3 main merge strategies. First is the merge commit, using the no fast forward flag. This preserves every single commit from your branch and adds a specific merge commit right on top. It creates a branching topology that tells the exact historical story of what was built and when. This is highly recommended if you're using GitFlow and need clear audits. Second, we have the squash merge. This takes all those messy work-in-progress commits from your feature branch and literally squashes them into one clean, readable commit on the main branch. This is the absolute gold standard for trunk-based development. And finally, rebase and merge. This replays your commits directly on top of the latest main branch to create a perfectly linear history. My personal recommendation? Only use rebase locally, just to keep your feature branch current with main right before you open a pull request.
Let's talk guardrails, common branching mistakes. Look, no matter which framework you adopt, you have to avoid these workflow killers. Mistake number 1, long-lived feature branches. The longer a branch lives, the more it diverges from reality, guaranteeing you a total merge conflict nightmare later on. Keep them under 2 days max. Mistake 2, rebasing a shared branch. If you rebase code you have already pushed, you rewrite history and completely break your teammates' local repositories. Just never do it. And mistake 3, committing directly to main. This completely defeats your entire structure. Always use pull requests and make sure you use branch protection rules to enforce this across the team. Finally, we have the ultimate decision framework. We know high-performing teams deploy frequently, but you can't just jump into a new workflow blindly. To confidently choose and defend your path, you need to ask your team these 3 critical questions. Step 1, what is your actual deploy frequency? If it's weekly or monthly, GitFlow works great. If it's daily, you really need trunk-based. Step 2, what is your CI/CD maturity like? If you don't have robust, reliable, automated testing, trunk-based is super dangerous. Stick to the safety of GitFlow until you build that automation up. Step 3, are feature flags available? If no, you're going to need GitFlow release branches to hide your unfinished work. If yes, then trunk-based is ready to go.
So let's wrap this explainer up with one final, critical question for you to think about. Is your current branching strategy slowing you down, or is it actually setting you up for scale? Remember, a heavy, bureaucratic process in a high-speed environment is just as damaging as a total lack of process in a highly regulated one. Take this framework back to your engineering team, evaluate your constraints honestly, and configure your branches so they actually serve your delivery goals. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you leave here ready to optimize your workflow.